to another episode of the Progressive Queens. I'm Tracy, and I'm joined by my panelists Jenny and Mickey today. So, hello, guys.
Hi.
Um,
Hi.
we have a whole lot to cover, so I'm going to try to be as quick as possible. But I've got to talk about the state of Texas.
Yeah.
I don't understand what is going. There's so many things I want to say about this that I don't know where to start. It's hard for me to gather my thoughts, but we may be on the verge of saying goodbye to Roe v. Wade, and that's a great fear of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me put it this way. This winter, because of the bribes that Abbott and Paxton and all those took, people died because they didn't have electricity. This summer,
Yeah.
people were suffering in the extreme heat because they didn't have electricity. So what did they decide to work on? Abortion. Did they work on their power problem? No. But then again, they are Republicans, and they have to satisfy their donors and their base rather than their constituents who are dying because of the electricity problem.
Yeah, I just. Oh, I'm sorry, Jenny. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say that that they're clearly not worried about people dying, um, with whether it's by energy or by this essential ban on abortions, because an abortion ban doesn't and won't end abortions. It will just end safe abortions. We all know this. Um, and countless women, countless women can lose their lives because of this ridiculous, um, overstepping nonsense ban. Um, and it's it's so messed up. It's so messed up. Um, most women most women who have experienced it know that you don't even know you're pregnant usually until 6 weeks along, especially if it's not a pregnancy you're trying to attain, right? Because
Right.
um, so you don't find out until, oh gosh, you're 10 weeks along, and there's nothing you can do about it, no matter the health condition of yourself or the baby, um, no matter any stipulations. And this is a serious breach, uh, that after hearing the Supreme Court saying they're not going to step in, is it's really heavy, because it comes with not just Texas, but all the states who are like Texas. Who's next? Mississippi, Georgia, right? Kentucky. They're not going to stop at Texas. They're going to continue. They're going to teach each other how to do it, and millions of women's lives will be affected by this.
Did the
And there's
Supreme
no
Court?
exception. There's no exceptions for rape or incest.
Yeah.
If a 10-year-old, if her uncle rapes her and she gets pregnant, she's going to have to carry that baby, even though her body isn't even developed enough yet. She could
Yeah.
suffer permanent damage if she
And not
carries
only
the
physically, but psychologically. Yeah, absolutely.
But what was the Supreme Court's reasoning? Did they say? They gave some kind of reason. I was like, okay, I didn't quite understand what they were saying.
The basis of an argument was, I mean, it was a cloudy issue, that it was the basis of someone's argument made it made it so that they weren't comfortable just stepping in. So that if Congress doesn't put something together that will stop this, we will eventually and essentially be an abortion ban country.
You know, I have several problems with this law or this ruling. First of all, let me start at the end. The ultimate answer is to do something that the Democrats don't seem to want to do, and that's to pack the courts. That's the
Correct.
ultimate, that's the solution to all of these ridiculous voter suppression laws, all of these anti-abortion laws. That's the easiest thing to do, but you have a congressperson in Congress that has a bill, but Nancy Pelosi says, oh no, we can't hear it. But yet she's telling her base, oh, well, I care about women's health and I want to do everything I can. No, you don't, because obviously you don't. Packing the courts is the ultimate answer. It's filibuster proof. You don't need 60 votes to approve Supreme Court justices.
We need to get rid of the filibuster on that note too.
Yes.
Yeah, well, the filibuster doesn't apply to the Supreme Court. It only applies to the Voters' Rights Act, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But it's like they don't, the very thing that's the answer, the ultimate answer that would eradicate all of these things, they're just like, nope, we can't do it. And I'm like, okay, so are you really for women's health? Are you really for protecting women's rights? Because you can't be. Second problem I have with this law, this thing in Texas, I'm calling it the snitch website that now that you can go to report people. Are you serious? You've turned people into bounty hunters. Now, essentially what could happen is if some man rapes a woman, and I don't want this to happen, so I don't want anybody in the comments saying I'm hoping this happens, I don't. But if he rapes a woman and she says, okay, I'm going to have an abortion, he could turn her over to this snitch website and get a check for $10,000. Are you serious?
Even worse, how about men? I'm sure there are some out there who would do this, poking holes in condoms to intentionally get a woman pregnant so he can turn her in for the money.
Exactly. That was exactly. Whoa. Yeah, because this is you're turning citizens into vigilante bounty hunters. That's essentially what you're going to do. If Joe or Dan or Sam or whoever gets in his feelings, says, you know what? And what if he turns it? They didn't even answer, and I'm sorry to jump around, but this one just really makes me so angry. One, how is the bounty hunter supposed to find out that she's pregnant? Isn't there this thing called HIPAA that maybe I just didn't even think about? I'm like, wait a minute, how does he know that she's pregnant? So, okay, so he finds out she's pregnant. He turns her in, or turns the doctor in, because they said the woman can't be sued. So now the doctor has to defend himself in court, take time off of his job or her job to defend themselves against basically a frivolous lawsuit. Could you imagine some bitter man, some evangelical deciding, you know what, I'm going to turn all of these women in and I get $80,000. All I got to do is turn in 8 women. I mean, they didn't even ask themselves, like, okay, how is the bounty hunter supposed to know that the woman is pregnant?
That seems like a big risk for men to be poking holes in condoms to get a woman pregnant so that she has an abortion. Because what if she doesn't have an abortion and the joke's on you? Now you got 8 kids. Was that worth $80,000?
Yeah, but I think what Mickey is thinking is that he could get her pregnant on purpose, and even if she's not contemplating abortion, he could still say, oh, well, she told me she was getting an abortion at XYZ clinic. There's no, they have no verification.
Don't forget, with some of these right wingers, they don't think ahead. They don't care.
No.
I mean, they stormed the Capitol. They brought a noose, a gallows, and screamed, hang Mike Pence. They didn't think that look at all the ones that are posting pictures of themselves. breaking laws and bragging about it online. They don't care.
It's like whoever wrote that law didn't think it through, because I'm like, okay, do they not know what HIPAA is? You can't just go around. What are you gonna do? Carry?
Checking people's
Yeah,
medical
like
records.
what you're gonna do? Ask every woman now. When was the last time you had a menstrual cycle? Now,
Yeah.
how many weeks has it been? And then you go, are you serious? Are you serious
Are
with
they
this?
going to post somebody in every pharmacy standing next to the pregnancy tests?
Exactly. Are they gonna have cameras? Like every
Are
time
they gonna give Plan B out like water? As soon as you have sex, the very next day, you go get your pill, you're fine. You don't take those chances. Then, I mean,
they didn't
not
even
that I
plan.
still don't think the law is acceptable. I don't by any means. But to just take something away and to not address the issue um, is really just setting up the community for failure, for
Well, that's
death,
what they
for
want.
terrible illness.
They
Yeah,
want
yeah. Oh,
this
absolutely.
law isn't about, oh, we care so much about the life of the child, and a child
Right.
is a choice. It's not a like it's a life, not a choice. No, this is about controlling women. Period. Point blank. That's what it is. This is a tool to make women subservient to them again.
Well, let's look at what they did in Texas. Even worse in Florida. They are banning mask mandates in schools, and they've announced they will not notify parents if their child was exposed to a COVID positive student.
And they don't think that their base
That's
is
how
going to
much.
get sick.
That's how much they care about children.
They don't. And like I said, it's a tool that they're using to control women. And you notice, of course, the piggyback states, the copycat states. There's already talk about Florida doing this. In my home state, Indiana, they're looking to do this.
Oh,
Every
of course they are.
state,
Yeah.
every state that is a red state, you best guarantee this law is going to be in their states too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're going to have just a few states where a woman can get the health care she needs. So now you're going to have to cart women off to states like California and New York. And I can't think of all the blue states, but we all know what they are.
And not the only ones who can afford to do that are the wealthy. Poor people, even middle class, a lot of them won't be able to. I mean, they're going to have to travel, either fly or
Well, they're
fill their
already
cars up.
talking about getting like caravan buses to go out of state, which they shouldn't even have to be talking about this. And what I always want to tell the people who are pro life, because I understand like where their religious conscience is coming from. Like I understand what they're saying, but what they don't get is just like what you said, Jenny. Making abortion illegal does not stop abortion. Hello, this is Tracy, and I want to let you know that the video that you just watched is just a snippet. And to see the whole wonderful episode, you need to be a Patreon. The link to be a Patreon is in the description section. Please check it out and please support. We need as much support as possible. Remember, you can always subscribe to our page and be notified when we get new videos. But if you want to see the whole video in its entirety, unedited, just off the cuff, no filters, no anything, be a Patreon. You can start as low as just $1 per month or $5 per month. We'll start to have polls. Sometimes I'll drop into the Patreon once we get a couple more members. But again, I just want to encourage you to support us on the Patreon. The link is in the description, and have a fantastic day. Bye bye.